Well, y'all, welcome back. Have you been told that delegation is the key to business growth? Well, it is, but only if you do it correctly. Delegation is a necessary part of everyone's business evolution, but it's also a place where so many of us, yours included, crashes and burns. So buckle up, buttercups. It's time to dive in.
Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. Oh, so we're just jumping into this topic feet first. And if you've ever delegated to VA or an OBM or maybe another team member and things went to shit, well, you're not alone. So if you've ever hired only to create more work for yourself, you're not alone. And if you're like most business owners, you're just sitting here and kind of shaking your head, or you haven't brought anyone on yet because you're worried about all these things. And so I want to touch on why does this happen? And it happens because we really focus on hiring people to help us with the now instead of partnering with us and partnering with, I'm going to say, a team member who's 100% match for your future focused business and your vision. And you get short-term relief, but not the long-term partnership. And if you've been following along in this season so far, what we're going to dive into is a part of our expand method, which is our unique process to help our joy-filled clients expand their already well-working businesses without burning out or imploding. And this is the D in the word expand. And so if you've missed the first letters or the intro into the expand method, go back to episodes 1 through 5. But if you're sitting here in the messy middle right now of, I need to hire somebody, keep listening in. You can go back to the other ones later. But I want you to really think back to the last person that you brought on your team. Were these the questions that came through your mind? So question number 1, which of these applicants is the least expensive? Number 2, who of these people can actually help me get tasks off my plate? And I'm going to say question number 3, how many jobs can I actually have this person do?
Now, whoa! I'm sorry, that made me even stop in my tracks, only because, and I will not mention names, I got a 5-minute message from someone yesterday who went on and on to tell me that what they needed to do was find the cheapest labor because that's all they could afford. And so they were looking on Upwork or wherever the hell they were looking, and they were looking for very, very cheap help. And my eyes squinched shut and my butt cheeks clenched a little. And I exited that conversation pronto. But here's what I know. I get it. You are drowning in the work and you need help like yesterday, right? But these are the most low quality questions that you could be asking. And as we tell ourselves and our clients all the time, when you spend time with low quality questions, you actually get low quality answers. And these are answers that do not move your business forward at all, right? So delegation is a tricky beast, right? It's a tricky beast. You do it wrong, you're going to find yourself in the same place or worse a few months down the road. And so there's really 3 main mistakes that we want to talk about here today about what happens with this delegation when it comes to expanding your business and why these mistakes happen or keep happening. Okay, so first thing, number 1, if you continue to partner with the wrong type of team members, it slows your growth and wastes wastes precious time, energy, and resources. Okay, they're not a match for a number of reasons. We're going to talk in a little bit about how to have a match for the perfect role and the perfect team member, right? But when they do leave the team, if you've been here, you know what happens. Things are a mess. Things are half done. You're left scrambling to pick up all the pieces once again, and you're almost worse off than when you had them in the beginning or before you even brought them on. Okay? So that's mistake number one. The second mistake is, and boy, have I learned this over and over again, not knowing what delegation truly means to the team, right? If you don't actually know how to delegate and let go and let your people run that part of the show, you are constantly in the middle of things. You're checking on projects, you're checking on people, you're checking on progress, you're checking on processes. These are the 4 deadly P's that keep you stuck: projects, people, processes, and progress, right? The third mistake is that you fail to build into your interview process or into your job process or even into your brand overall, culture, communication, and morale, right?
Mm.
So even if you have the right team in place and you're listening to this episode and you're thinking, how can I deepen these relationships and really, you know, go further faster with my team? The answer is focusing on team culture, communication, and morale. All right. If you and the team feel lonely or isolated, or your team feels like taskmasters and they're just completing endless lists of to-dos without working towards a bigger vision or mission together, not going to work long term. I was there once too, right? So my colleagues and my clients often say to me, how did you find Amy? There she is, who is our rockstar sales team lead and community curator. How did you find her? And I'm very upfront and honest when I share this story. It took me 3 times of crashing and burning with other salespeople to find Amy. It was a painful process.
Mhm.
I didn't have the right systems in place for the sales to be effective. We didn't even have a training library in place. The people that we hired said they loved sales, but they actually loved collecting money, not building the relationship. And we all know that relationship building is a huge part of the sales, right? So all of these mistakes, y'all, cost me 2 years of heartache, wasted time, wasted money, frustration, second guessing myself. Can I be a leader? Can I have this brand as I envision it? Can I have this business that's bigger than me? And I would lay awake at night, and this is what the questions I would ask myself. And when I finally slowed down to figure out where the gaps were and all the places that I neglected to get things right in the prior attempts, that is when things started shifting for good. So if you want to delegate in your business and not just be a manager of the people and the projects, then there are 3 areas of delegating. And we are going to jump into those so that you can bring on some new support and get your business growing. So Amy, what's the first thing we really need to think about so we do this right?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that when we work with clients in our Joy Filled program is we really need to make sure that they're focusing on highly specialized skills and roles. And just give me a hot second so I can get on my soapbox. Nothing makes me more irritated in this planet than when I see a job description saying that they have to be excellent at writing, be able to public speak, be able to do this, be able to do that. The jack of all trades person, although I love them and sometimes I identify as that, is not who you want to be bringing on at your team. So when you partner with specialists and not generalists, like if we think about your CRM, for example, and if you're using Kajabi, Bring on that Kajabi specialist who really knows the tool and the tech inside and out to help you monetize your marketing automations, your database, and that's going to grow well beyond probably what you can actually dream, because you're not a specialist in Kajabi or whatever your CRM or email system is. They are, so they can see how to use the system when you partner together and explain to them what's going on in your business. And so it's valuable insight for your vision and growth. And often it's the insight and information that you didn't even know existed. So double down on specialized skills and roles, not someone that can do 47 tasks. You really want to hone in.
Yeah, so Amy, just for a minute, let's talk about the specialized skills and roles on this team. Because
That's
I
what I
think
was saying.
having people hear it is going to be good.
When I
So
think of that, that's the best example, right?
yeah, so we have Lucinda. All she does, and I'm not diminishing what she does. She's in her zone of genius. She designs our workbooks, our graphics, and our logos so that the entire brand is cohesive.
Yes, it looks so good.
So much better than when I was doing it, y'all.
Yeah. Or when we were trying to piece something together in Canva, right?
Absolutely.
And so then Lucinda will do all the graphics. And then we also have Jordan on our team, who is the one who's kind of implementing and getting those graphics out. We used to ask Jordan every once in a while to do Canva graphics. Was she okay at it? Yeah. But she was never as quick as and efficient as Lucinda is. And that's because, again, this is Lucinda's zone of genius. And so Jordan's really great at getting things out and implementing and utilizing our email marketing tool. And she is our expert in our email marketing tool. She knows how to update our website because she understands that tech piece of it. And so allowing Jordan to be, I'm going to say, the executioner of all of those things, but Lucinda to be that creative graphics person, it flows so well between the two of them.
Yeah, and I recently brought on a SEO specialist, and she is researching and providing SEO frameworks and briefs for our long-term content, our long-form content on the blog. And you know, this was something I was trying to do, and it's just way over my head. Like, I don't even have fun with it. So we have someone who's on the lookout and helping us with the SEO for all of our amazing content so it can be found, which I think is super important, right? We also have a
Tom, our podcast editor.
Tom. Yes,
Hi,
we
Tom.
do. We brought him on this year because Amy and I could only figure out I mean, it's just taking us too much time to produce the podcast. It wasn't done the way that we wanted. We did the best we could, but it's not our zone of genius. So Tom helps us with our podcast, right? So specialized skills and roles. That's the number one thing. Do not look for, as Amy says, Jacks or Janes of all trades.
And here's the other thing that I'm going to point out about the specialized roles. Did you hear us at all saying that these people are creating the content for us originally? They're not. The content creation happens from Shannon and I, and then we divide it out and they execute on what we've originally created. And I think that's really important because we're our best marketers and messengers. I could never expect Jordan, even though she's amazing, super smart, the sweetest person you are ever going to get on the phone, to come up with the content that Shannon and I can come up with because we are our best messengers. And so filling in those gaps and finding people to do the other things has been so important in this brand for us to stay in our zones of genius. And even when you look at the dividing of duties between Shannon and I'm hosting all of our sales conversations. Is Shannon good at them? She 100% is good at them. But having those one-to-one conversations was draining her energy. Guess where I thrive and love? I can spend and do 6 back-to-back one-on-one conversations every single day, and my little heart is so stinking happy. I
Yes,
love
it
it.
is. So stinking happy.
So stinking happy. And so it's looking at not only the skills, but also what do you really enjoy when you get into it? Anything else about the specialized skills and roles before we move on to the next one?
No, let's hit up vision. It's got to be a vision match, y'all.
And so here at the Joyful Business Revolution, we have our 3-year vivid vision. And we talked about it, I think, in episode number 3 of this season. So if you want to go back and listen to that. But when you know exactly which specialized team members you need to bring on and when, based where you are growing and going, not where you are here today. And that makes hiring then a strategic move and not just a knee-jerk action, I guess, to like get some instant relief and out of overwhelm and overwork. So when we can be really strategic about the growth of where we're going, it's so key. And can you articulate that when you're interviewing people? Is it clear enough that when you're sitting and talking with somebody about where you're going, that they can be like, yeah, I get that. And I could be on board with you. Or, that sounds like too much for me. Actually, I don't want to go that way. You would then know that they are not a vision match for you and your organization.
Yeah.
The other V, I would say, in the third is values match. So talking more about culture. And so when you've identified and defined your brand values and culture, which again, we covered this in episode 4 of this season, so feel free to go back and listen. You can really use that information to find the team members who share the same values and have a stronger buy-in for that overall vision and mission within your company. And, we use these aspects during the interview process. And when we've used it, it has made it a million times easier to partner with the rock star team member that's really invested in this culture and in this brand. And when we're working with our clients on identifying and defining those brand values, a lot of time that work actually comes from the messaging work that we do for them to use in their marketing and messaging strategy. But it's so important for you to be able to articulate that so that a team member can be 100% in on where you're going, I would say just as much as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking for your rock star and you understand that, delegation actually means empowering and giving them ownership for each and every team member, and things can shift rather quickly, you want to make sure that you're finding the difference between the hiring and the partnership and how to partner with that team member and how that actually is going to work for you. And the beautiful thing, I think, of all of this is it's going to work different from you than it works different for, say, another coach or consultant out there, because your two businesses are so different. And so that's why I think it's also important to get support with doing this, to have someone to mind share or mastermind with, to make sure that you're coming up with the right brand culture, the right vivid vision. And that's really what we're doing with our clients in our Joy Filled program, so that they can really understand the difference for hiring now and partnering with someone for their future growth.
Yeah. And we could do a whole season on our mistakes of hiring and processes and all that. We won't do that because it would probably bore you. But what I will say is that when you can define your culture that you want for your contractors or your employees, and that is clearly defined and positioned at the top of the role description or the job description, one, you're going to stand out from everyone else who's leading with the tasks that want done. All right. And two, you are going to find people who love what you're doing and want to be a part of it long term. And, you know, we're getting ready to say goodbye to someone who's been in this brand for at least 5 years, I think. And that's Lou, our tech wizard. And he is moving on as of mid-month of May 2024. But I'll tell you what, it's been an easy transition, not emotionally, because we love Lou, but it's been an easy transition because of all the prior mistakes that I made. We fixed those things. We have documentation, we have SOPs outlined, we have processes. We were able to get someone in to start doing some training, and you know, Lou has stayed on for a few hours each month to answer the questions. And it really is the best case scenario for somebody who has been such an integral part of this brand and our tech. I would say at this point, it's been a seamless transition of him transitioning out and the next person picking up the pieces. And that's, I think, what we could all wish and hope and dream for when it happens. Lou is going to go on to pursue his graphic design career. He does labels and all kinds of cool stuff with beverage industry and craft beer companies. So we are cheering him on, but we are a little sad too, right, Amy?
I am. He's so fun. But
Yeah.
it was the other thing too that I love about this conversation and about expanding is Lou felt it was time for him to expand into his deep, deep zone of genius. And he is a very, very smart tech wizard. But he also has learned from working in this brand really what is important and what lights him up. And the slow transition out is his way to also honor, part of our brand values. Instead of just giving 2 weeks notice and just being like, peace out, good luck. I mean, I guess we would have probably worked out okay because we do have all those operation procedures, but we've had 3 months to transition. And I think that also goes to show our deep brand culture of what we've created here. And so when you're thinking about bringing on your next team member to partner with, you've got to think through that future part too. When they do leave, if they do leave, what would you want that experience to be like? And can you create that in your company?
Yeah. And that he felt safe enough to call me. Y'all, he called me from Aruba. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, why is Lou calling me from vacation? But he had time to unplug, right? Part of our culture here is giving people the time and space to unplug. When they do take time off, they're off. And he was getting ready for his flight back, and he just said, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And he dialed me up and he said, this time away has given me some time to reflect, and I think it's time for me to move on. And that, to be able to even have that conversation like that, I think says a lot about the brand culture. Of course,
Right.
he framed it around where his joy was and all the language that we speak here, so I could hear it amidst the little bit of panic that rose up. But it was panic because I wasn't expecting it, not because we weren't ready, right? So anyway, this is a little bit about the delegation trap, how not to fall into those mistakes, and what to be looking for when it's time to partner with your next long-term teammate. And y'all, if you start calling them team instead of employee, worker, helper, implementer, or whatever else, that's going to help too, believe me. All right. We are a team. We are stronger together. So I want to help you grow the business you deserve. And this means that you have to get your delegation right, or you'll be back to wearing all the hats and doing all the things, which will limit your growth and keep you awake at night. We've all been there, right? So as business strategists, I've helped thousands of clients turn their businesses around and create businesses they never thought possible. Part of this process is determining your business growth score. We've created a tool that will help you score your business in 8 key areas so that you can identify your current blind spots, including your team, processes, and systems, and see, are they acting more like quicksand or like a rock solid foundation? It's not a 3-minute quiz, y'all. This is not going to take you 3 minutes. All right. It's 20 questions. You can hop over to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/scorecard. Give yourself the time and space to identify your gaps. Maybe 15 minutes. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your business, and you owe it to your future team members.
All right, for the next episode, we're going to talk about slowing your roll when you hire someone and how this will save you time, energy, and money so that you find the perfect fit teammate that will be with you for many years to come. So we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Adios, y'all.